things that have impacted me in negative ways on deals or things that I've made up time for is that time component and how important it is to keep it your number one focus is just don't lose time, move every deal forward and progress it, even if it's just a little bit every single week.
All right. Well, thank you, Jake, for joining us and for taking some time to tell us about your story, tell us about what you're working on. Um, we understand that you are the vice president and the partner at Grow Development, and you guys are based out of Utah. You have many, many years of experience and many houses that you've built and uh, sites that you've developed. So we definitely want to learn from you and follow your footsteps in certain areas for sure. So why don't we start you introducing yourself and then telling us your real estate story,
Yeah.
real estate journey. How did you get started and why real estate?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks, David, for having me. Appreciate it. Yeah, like you said, my name is Jake Hone, and I am a partner and one of the founders, and kind of go by the vice president of our development company called Grow Development. We are located just outside of Salt Lake City in Utah, and we do all things real estate development. So it's a really cool opportunity for us. It's a fun market, really unique product and environment that we get to work at here in Salt Lake City. So a little bit of background on me. I have almost 17 years of real estate acquisition experience, all here within Salt Lake City Metro in the Utah area. I started off as working for a local and private home builder, going out and doing the acquisitions for them to locate new sites, find new opportunities, and ultimately bring to market new residential communities. And they were smaller. And so it gave me a really good opportunity to find specific niche product and price points to meet their needs and all of their uh, hopes for the business plan. So that was Alpine Homes. After that, I continued to progress in my career, and I ended up moving to Oakwood Homes, which is a regional home builder. Um, they are now owned by Clayton Properties, which is an entity of Berkshire Hathaway. And so it was a really good experience to work with them and help build their brand here in Utah. And lastly, before I started my development company, I worked with Toll Brothers, large
Mm.
national home builder, known for their luxury homes all across the nation. And I was the second employee as we started a division here in Utah once they expanded to the Salt Lake City area. So that was a really good opportunity to go from the ground floor of nothing and creating a division here in Utah. Um, and like I said, most of my responsibilities in all of those different positions was being on the front line, out finding new opportunities, contacting landowners, working with larger master developers, doing acquisitions, entitlements, land development, and even helping out on the design and procurement of new model homes and things like that, to get the communities open for sale and new home sales going. So really had a lot of great experience in working in that realm and doing new homes. It transitioned ultimately for me to be able to join my partner. His name's Boyd Brown,
Mhm.
in launching Grow Development. And so we are celebrating 3 years this summer as a development company, and we can go into some more details and a lot of info on that. So, do you have any questions on, um, kind of that first glimpse of my career?
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. You've definitely you're a veteran in the real estate industry, and you've gone from so many different facets. Um, did you ever flip? Did you say you flipped properties, or it was mostly like on the development side?
mostly on the development side. So, uh, obviously, the intent when we develop land is you got to
Hmm.
add value. And so many of my projects or deals that you want to call them, it's identifying where they're at in a current state, going and working with the city or local municipality and getting a rezone or changing the use on the property somehow and adding value in order to bring it to market. And so that's been my main focus. Actually, my whole career is, finding a pasture of land with a farmer and converting it into single family homes, townhomes, multifamily, that sort of stuff, where you're changing the use and increasing the value and the yield on the property.
It's beautiful. I mean, like the U.S. needs people like you. Like to actually create more um, housing, and like by increasing the housing, you're helping with affordability, right? Because right now
Yep.
we just have a big supply constraint. So like what you're doing is definitely helping the housing market, like new generations, everything. That's very inspiring. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, every segment of the housing industry is affected by essentially a housing shortage. We feel it here in Salt Lake and Utah, especially, but it's all across the nation. And so, as you add more inventory, whether it's for the luxury market, the move up market, or the entry level market, it then in turn impacts all the other segments to
Mm.
free up inventory and open those up as people move up, move down, or expand. So it's um, any inventory is great. Obviously, you don't want to flood the market with a lot of the same type of product and price points, and so you got to be diversified in offering multiple product points. And so that's really what we do. Everything from higher end luxury estate lots all the way down to entry level first time home buyers on small townhomes or small condos. So we've had exposure on all of that.
Very cool. So what niche is currently working best for you right now? And how are you dealing with, inflation, because materials have gone up, labor has gone up. How are you dealing with high interest rates? So what are the niches that are working for you guys?
Yeah, great question. So as I underwrite and look at new deals and new opportunities, the land is really the biggest variable in the equation. So we start at the back end, actually. We look and see, what is the average price point of a home that we can sell on this property within the submarket? What are the average homes going for in that area? And is it a similar price point? And so, once you establish what that value is, the bricks and sticks home building costs to build a home, those are pretty fixed. You follow the market trends, you follow the suppliers, you follow the general contractors and things like that, and there's not a whole lot of wiggle room in that bucket of the equation. Then you back out the development costs, putting in the infrastructure, the roads, the utilities, power, gas, sewer, water, all of those things. Similar situations you have on the home building side. You have a little bit of variable in negotiation with the contractor and who's providing that, but ultimately that is also a fixed cost or a pretty baked in cost. And then you have the entitlement cost to get it approved, get it designed, get
Yeah.
it signed off by the city. And those are a smaller portion of the ultimate equation. But once you back all of those out, ultimately it's the land. And so we share that when we talk to landowners and land sellers and try and educate them on how it will impact their bottom line based on what we can ultimately sell homes for on their property.
Mhm.
And so once we're able to share that and educate them on that, there seems to be more reason and understanding with, okay, even though I was told, a neighbor down the road or a property down the road sold for X, now that I understand my specific constraints, the things that impact my property, this is what, I can ultimately yield out of the value of the property. And so we definitely really focus on that education process
Mhm.
and sharing that, ultimately there's a ceiling and a gap on what we have to make up, and the land is the part that is the biggest um, contributor to that equation on what you can sell on it.
Very interesting. Yeah, I've never developed definitely
Yeah.
not a role in, so but
Yeah.
I see a lot of real estate investors that start with flipping. They go into development because it's you can manage your costs, and like the risk reward is a lot better, right? From
Yeah.
what I've seen.
Yeah.
So very cool. And so what is if you were to pick one or two learning experiences and something like that was very difficult to overcome as in real estate in your career, what were those two and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. Good question. For us, our challenge is you're taking a risk on something that ultimately won't be completed or done until 12 months, 18 months, 24 months down the road.
Hmm.
And so, as you do that, you're trying to minimize your exposure throughout the deal. And so, one of the biggest learning experiences I've had in this industry and in my career is that time is one of the most important factors. And so, because we rely on so many outside sources, for example, I can fill out an application and have a piece of property presented to a city, but maybe the city council, the authority to decide if it gets approved or not, only meets once a month. If you miss 1 month or miss one application, you're another month gone down the road in the process. And so it's a critical path to manage your time and your lost time as you do development, whether it's land development, if you're just on the home building side, if you're on the fix and flip side. I mean, it's applicable to all situations in real estate, but
Hmm.
especially in the land development realm, where you're starting with a raw land piece, and ultimately until residents and homeowners move in. Like I said, it could be 2 to 3 years down the road that you're exposed during that time frame. So, yeah, one of the most important are the, you know, things that have impacted me in negative ways on deals, or things that I've made up time for. Is that time component and how important it is to keep it your number one focus. Is just don't lose time, move every deal forward and progress it, even if it's just a little bit every single week.
Yeah. So as you know, like AI has come and is revolutionizing so many industries, and real estate is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is like whoever doesn't transform and start using it is going to be left behind. Are you
Yep.
currently using it? And what are the uses that you're having right now for it?
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. Um, We are absolutely using AI and integrating it into every aspect of the company that we can.
Hmm.
And it is shown a ton of benefit and value to us, even down to the minor things, like as we're comparing, for example, bids from general contractors, putting them side by side. It helps you get just a quick glimpse at what they've included or excluded from their bids and proposals.
Hmm.
I use it all the time as a resource to research the zoning ordinances and laws and development requirements throughout different cities and municipalities. If we've never done work in a specific city, um, obviously you can utilize chat, Gemini, all of them to research and get you a quicker answer, quicker understanding of how it works within that city and what they will require. So it closes that gap on the experience and historical knowledge of someone who maybe has been working in that city for years and years and years, that you can catch up much faster and have a better understanding of how that city operates.
Mhm.
Um, we utilize AI to help us with our prospecting for new opportunities, whether it's analyzing maps, analyzing areas, even helping us produce collateral to send out, whether it's, letters, postcards, all those sorts of things, and managing and mining contact information for prospecting. So it is very useful in that aspect, and has helped us make up time, exactly as I was kind of bringing up before. But it's interesting. Our industry is still very much a person to person interaction.
Mhm.
And what's even more interesting especially in my sub market in Utah, for example, the demographic we work with a lot of times on raw land or landowner purchases is a more mature, elderly type demographic, individuals who are, for example, inheriting property or in their retirement have owned property for a very long time. And so we find a lot of success being in person, face to face, on their doorstep, in their living room, talking about things and negotiating. And so we haven't put that frontline contact responsibility on AI yet, or an AI
Mhm.
assistant, just because we feel the personal touch is still absolutely necessary in what we're doing.
Yeah, I think definitely real estate is a people's person, right? Like
Yep.
that human touch and like trusting. I mean, because for a lot of people, obviously, for most, our homes are our biggest investment, and we are so attached to it emotionally, right? So you definitely want to buy from somebody that you trust.
Yep.
That makes sense. So, in your company right now, are what are some pain points, that your guys are experiencing? And are you guys looking to expand? And what is keeping you from expanding? Like, could you do to keep expanding?
Yeah, great question. So, as I mentioned, we're right at kind of our 3-year mark as far as a startup.
Mhm.
And we did a true organic startup. You know, had the vision and the idea between my partner and I that was aligned on the development company we wanted to build. But then it was from ground level, creating everything. And so I would say our pain points are still multiple people wearing multiple hats and
Mhm.
responsibilities, where it produces what I would say less effective results because we are focused on multiple things versus just our good skill sets that we're well experienced in. And so, but that comes with any business is scaling and growing. That you have those scaling constraints and challenges along the way. And
Okay.
so we're going through that right now. Um, but our next step and kind of next evolution is continuing to expand our footprint. And so in Utah, we mainly operate, I call it, 100 miles plus or minus from Salt Lake City, just because it's easy. We can get somewhere in a day trip, get to a meeting in a day, and don't have, too many constraints as far as travel goes. And so, as we grow, though, we will have the capacity and the ability to open new divisions potentially, or even just expand into out of state development within the Mountain West, Idaho, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada. Everything is still very performing very well, and good opportunities are there. And so that's what we'll look at for on our expansion, kind of from the 3 to 5 year gap, as well as we have, as I mentioned earlier, the longer time frame type deals. We have some deals that are coming to fruition now that we laid the groundwork on, a year, 2 years ago, where we are building commercial assets to hold long term, whether that's commercial retail buildings or some light industrial type opportunities. So we have a few of those projects that are going vertical now that we're excited to see how they start performing as they start filling up and having tenants and users in them.
Yeah. So, something that we've seen is that AI is like sucking in all the liquidity uh, um, in the market, right? Like everybody's very excited about OpenAI, Claude, SpaceX. And so a lot of those companies are and NVIDIA, obviously. So like sucking in all the liquidity. Um, are you guys having issues finding investors or finding liquidity right now?
Yeah. Um, so we do utilize outside investors and lenders on the majority of our projects. And what's great is most individuals who are successful in real estate and find a really great wealth or portfolio over their career in real estate, they want to keep investing in real estate.
Hmm.
And so we have a great network of individuals that we're close with and know. And let's put it this way, finding the deals is the harder part than finding the money.
Yeah.
Most people are very excited for the opportunities because of our proven track record and success and what we've been able to accomplish. They're excited to come and invest in our deals. Like I say, either as a short-term lender providing an acquisition and development loan, or a long-term investor and partnering in some of our commercial assets and long-term hold assets that we're going to keep. And so we haven't ran into that challenge, but it is still scrutinized. It is still, very much, we've got eyes on it as they're doing the loan and investments with us to ensure that we will be successful and ensure we have a good project that they're investing in. So we haven't had any troubles with that. And we've had both, institutional investors or institutional loans and lenders through banks and credit unions, but then we utilize majority private lenders and high net worth individuals that work with us.
Amazing. Yeah. Have you ever thought about and possibly explore tokenization, to find liquidity or investments through like the cryptocurrency market, right? That you tokenize the actual project and you open the door to a lot of investors. Have you ever like
Yeah.
thought about or explore it?
No, we haven't explored it. It's a great idea. We do actually, a handful of investors that we work with utilize self-directed IRAs and things like that they want to
Mhm.
put and keep in real estate. And so I could totally see, similar vehicles like that opening up in the future, utilizing cryptocurrency and things like that. So, um, outside of my normal just Coinbase account for crypto, I haven't done
Yeah,
anything else that way. So,
yeah, yeah. Well, one thing that I'm doing in my or the company that I manage, Capital Stays, and for the investors is we also have like a Bitcoin reserve, right, for each project. And
mhm,
it's kind of like a way to keep some liquidity there that because in the long term, it usually just has like a pretty good return.
yeah,
It's very volatile in the short term, but if you're looking at like a 5-year horizon, it usually always goes up, right? So it kind of like gives some investors some peace of mind to have that liquidity there. And now that the US is also creating their own Bitcoin reserve, that kind of prove the point that it's a good idea to do, right?
yeah.
Have you ever thought about maybe doing something like that for for your company?
I haven't, but you piqued my interest, and I'll look into it.
Cool, yeah, amazing. So, what else would you like the audience to know? How can they get in contact with you, and how can they work with you?
Yeah, like I said, we're focused in the Utah market right now. Our company's called Grow Development. You can find us on our website, growdev.com. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, all that sort of stuff too. Um, Happy to discuss and, you know, share ideas and things like that. If someone has questions on development, everything from underwriting, looking at the entitlements and reviewing things with the city, and then look at opportunities and see if there's some that make sense. Like I said, either within our local market here or even outside of our market. So always excited to talk about real estate. It's my passion in addition to what I do for work, and
Yeah.
it's a fun life to live.
Yes, I agree. Right now, I'm like living my dream for sure. Like especially learning from you guys. I can talk for hours about real estate.
Yep.
Um, Great. So one last question. So
Okay.
if you were to pick one song that will be like a theme song for yourself or for the company, what would you pick?
That's a great question. Um,
And it's tough to like think about, but yeah,
yeah, my business partner has a saying that I love that we talk about all the time. We say it all the time. And it's simple. It kind of gets you back to the basics, but his saying is real estate works if you do. And there's a truth to that. You got to put in the work, you got to grind. It's after hours. Maybe you're at a city meeting late into the night, meeting with a landowner late in the night, whatever it takes, right? You got to be willing to put in the work. But we're pretty fired up here. We come here, we're excited, we're ready to make things happen, make a change out there. Uh, and I always think about like a pump up song that gets you ready, gets you in the mindset, and we truly do. We are fired up when we're here working. So I would probably say like "Kickstart My Heart" from Motley Crue or something like that. It just really pumps you up, gets you ready to go, and go out there and make a change.
I love it. Jake, thank you so much for your time and for all these insights. I look forward to continue working and connecting with you. And
Yeah.
yeah, this was great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Thanks.